Hey, what's up guys? Kane here with XBLA fans, and I'm going to be giving you a quick taste of Monster Slayers from Digerati. This game is honestly pretty deep, and it's really cool. I've been having a lot of fun with it. It's $14.99 on Xbox One. It's a rogue-like deck building RPG. So at the beginning of each mission, you kind of pick your character, you pick his class or her class, and then you go out on an adventure. You'll be able to choose from a couple different locations. You can also equip different armor and weapons and stuff that you'll gain along your way. It is a rogue-lite. It'll have all that, you know, stuff that you basically improve. You'll be able to take it with you on your next adventure. You'll be able to kind of level yourself up a little bit, kind of like something like Rogue Legacy, where you become getting more powerful each progressive adventure, because you're able to add in these experience points you gain to your fame or whatnot, and that allows you to buy new upgrades. So like as I'm starting this, I actually have more of these chain strikes. That's a good example, because of the fact that I've upgraded my rogue class a little bit. So honestly, this armor does help you out a lot. I have a lot more hit points and defense and whatnot. Also a little bit more damage on some of my attacks and stuff. It's some cool stuff that you can kind of get from killing bosses, and also just find in various treasure chests or buy from the different merchants. So each time you pick a different companion, each companion has their own ability that can be triggered. They each have different cooldowns, normally 2 or 3 battles, and it's pretty great. And that's something I've really liked about this game. In particular, the rogue class really struck me, because the entire goal of the rogue class is cycling through cards in a way that makes them into a combo that allows you to do maximum damage each turn by trying to draw through your entire deck. So basically, you can get it to where you can play every single card in your deck. When your draw pile is empty, you'll shuffle back in your discard pile, and that allows you to just kind of quickly do tons and tons and tons of damage. And I've really enjoyed that playstyle. That's one that fit well for me. Each different class has a unique playstyle, and that's something that's super cool about this. So we have 12 different character classes: rogues, rangers, knights, barbarians, clerics, wizards, assassins, beastmasters, apothecary, brute monk, and necromancer. I've tried a couple of them, and I've found them to be very unique so far. In particular, I had a lot of fun playing as the dragon. It kind of like powered up really quickly, and it felt like it got really strong. It was a completely different play style than the rogue. The rogue doesn't really have to rely on mana much, whereas the dragon did, and that was just a totally different kind of experience. So here I'm trying to use a lot of these chain strikes, and then I'll use my basic attacks, and then I've got that like backstab card that does absurd amounts of damage. And like right there, you can see I used my you know, my teammate ability. He allowed me to basically, you know, get another card, and that allowed me to kill the guy. So you can use your teammate strategically when you need him. You can gain health either by going to a healer on the map, by leveling up, or potentially items in your cards. For me personally, I normally end up, you know, being able to level up just from, or heal from leveling up. But sometimes you do need to consider, you know, going to the healer just to save your own butt. By using the healer like that, though, it does take away the ability to use the healer to, you know, discard a card from your deck. And then there's altars and things like this. Altars, they give you both a positive and a negative. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. You kind of got to worry a little bit about them. That one, honestly, I probably could have got away with, but sometimes the drawbacks are super negative and not worth what you gain. One thing that's really important for me is I want to, you know, be able to delete some of my crappy basic cards and then upgrade some of my combo cards and make them even stronger. So that's kind of what our goal here is the way the rogue plays. He plays like a combo kind of mill deck. So you're like self-milling yourself, basically. Just go through your cards as quickly as possible. And that kind of allows you to get even bigger combos on these backstabs or whatnot. And they're just really powerful. I've gotten those things up to where they're doing 70 damage before. I actually tried another run with the rogue last night. We made it to the final boss in the game. He eventually did take me out. I kind of learned a little bit about what I need to do better to prepare for him next time. And that's one thing that's kind of cool about this, is you can kind of make a lot of your own decisions. You can play very strategically. You can change things up. The game is incredibly deep. You can almost, you know, go from room to room in any order you want. Obviously, there are slight pathways, so you need to at least have gone to a connecting room first. But you can kind of like see how much XP you're going to get from attacking somebody, which is super cool. If you don't like the cards you get, you can mulligan them, and that allows you to make sure that, like, especially with someone like the rogue here, I can make sure I have a quality combo ready to where I can do enough damage to maybe instant kill the guy. Because that's our goal, is we're trying to basically not lose health as much as humanly possible. Because when I lose health, I want to make sure that I can try to level up to get it back. Because I'm going to try to avoid having to pay for it and avoid having to, you know, use the healer for that. I would much rather use the healer to be able to delete the cards so I can get rid of some of these weaker cards. Because with the rogue, my goal is to always have cards that allow me to keep drawing. And that's what's super, super clutch, because a lot of your cards combo based on how many cards you've played, or, you know, each card you played before this turn. Eventually, I found some cards later on that allow me to, like, every time I play one, it does 2 damage. So when you're playing 14 cards every single turn, playing that card early on can hit really, really, really hard, because you're getting 2 damage times 14. It doesn't sound like much, but it adds up real quick, especially when you're putting it in with these cards that eventually do damage for each card you've played, and you can kind of get some really powerful combos. And that's what I've really enjoyed about this game, is it's just very deep. There's a lot of different things going on. You know, there's different enemy types. They have different drawbacks. They have different bonuses. They have different attacks themselves. You get to see a lot of different styles of play, and that's something that's really, truly pretty cool about this game. It's surprisingly deep. Like, honestly, I could continue to talk about this game for a while. You get to fight, you know, goblins, lion outlaws, dragons, mummies, you know, vampires, you know, just about anything you can think of that would classify as a monster is there for you to slay it. And that's pretty cool. I really like the way that the companions work. After you beat through your first area and kill the boss, you're actually able to get a second companion, which is pretty cool, because they can, you know, eventually get 2 that kind of work well together, and that's pretty great. You know, as you're playing, you're continuing to unlock fame. That's going to let you buy new abilities and make yourself stronger for the next time you play, as well as a few other things, which is pretty cool. Every playthrough is a little bit different. You know, the levels are completely randomly generated. The enemy encounters, the loot. Obviously, I think the bosses seem to continue to be the same, but they're in new locations and whatnot. And not only that, you need to kill, I believe, 3 bosses to get to the final one. And, you know, it's going to be a different set of options for you to choose from every time. So, like, you're not always going to go to the same area. There's a couple different areas to kind of choose from at the start of the game, and that's pretty cool. The stat boosting loot that you can get, you know, sticks with you after each playthrough. It becomes super clutch. There's a lot of things that will help you, you know, just kind of be better. There's a lot of unique spells in this game, you know, like counter spells, cancels, you know, various other just things similar to that. Like, I think at one point I even had like a Phoenix down, like, you know, like if I died while that card was in my hand, I immediately got revived. There's just a lot of cool things in there. If you beat the game, you can get a legendary mode unlocked to make it even more difficult, and I've been really enjoying this game so far. I would say this one is definitely worth checking out. I've been having a lot of fun with it. I think it's a really solid game, and honestly, the amount of depth to the combat is just really a little surprising at first, because you look at it and you're like, okay, it doesn't seem that complex, but at the end of the day, it really, really does allow you to do some cool things. Like, this is a really in-depth card game. There's a lot of things you can do, and it works really well, and it's just it's a fun little game. Like, I've had a lot of fun with it. I've been playing this a little bit every day, and I've definitely been enjoying it. I would definitely recommend looking at this one. If it looks like fun, I think you'll probably enjoy it. I'd be a little remiss if I didn't mention the fact that it's a little wonky at times, specifically with the controls. You can definitely feel that it was ported to Xbox from something else, because every once in a while it just doesn't seem like the left stick works in navigation the way that you would expect it to. And that's a little bit of a bummer, but it doesn't really detract from the game at all. It's honestly just really enjoyable. It's worth taking a look at, and I've definitely been enjoying it. That was our first boss. Once you defeat the boss, you get, you know, another card, level ups, all that stuff, and you can theoretically also get boss loot and stuff. I believe that's a perk you need to unlock with fame, and I think I just got that recently, so I don't think I had it in this video. But this is just another good example of, you know, like how crazy you can start making your combos eventually. You can really get to the point that, like when I was playing last night, I was cycling through all 18 cards in my deck every single turn. You know, it was super, super cool. Not only that, I was holding onto that Phoenix down to be able to basically mean that, like, if you did kill me, I immediately came back anyway, so it was like I was completely protected. There was no way to take me out, and that was just kind of cool to me, that just the way that different things worked. It's really cool to me that they thought through the idea of adding and deleting cards, and sometimes, you know, different bosses will literally throw in blocker cards just to make it harder for you to use a strategy like I'm using here, where you're trying to cycle through cards quickly. And that's just pretty neat. As you level, you eventually get, you know, more cards in your deck, you know, from starting at 3 to all the way up to 5, I believe. And then once you beat that guy, you're able to pick a new area. You can obviously look, you'll see I have some new inventory that I've unlocked, and that's pretty cool. You can, you know, get some different abilities and perks on some of that weapons, and that's pretty sweet. But I'm going to end the video here. I just want to say thank you guys so much for checking this out. I really do appreciate it. If you guys have any questions about the game, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'd love to chat with you about it. Please do like and subscribe. It helps us out an absolute ton. You guys have no idea how much that helps us. Anyways, guys, thank you so much, and later.